Hi, it's Tammy, Integrated Body Coach, and welcome back. Oh my gosh, it's finally here. This is day 6 of week 4. We are at our last working day of our 28-day Take Back Your Life program. We've had 4 weeks of learning how to get in the right mindset. How do we think? What drives our inner elephant? Looking at our nutrition and how to eat right to feed this body in order to maintain and obtain the goals and results that we want physically and mentally and focus-wise. And then we did a week on fitness and how to build a workout program, a fitness program that works for you and helps you to achieve your goals. And we've been talking this week about habits. We're on our last day of habits. A lot of stuff to do here today, and then tomorrow will be a day of reflection and then another day of even greater reflection. So thank you for sticking with me to this point. I'm really excited to dive in today and cover these last few tips about habits and how to build a habit system that helps you become who you really want to be. And so did you know that your habits create your identity? Integrated physical health results from the development of habits across 4 primary areas of our lives. We talked about this way back in the very beginning. We have nutrition, movement, mindfulness, and sleep, okay? And so at this point of the program, it's time to get really serious about creating an identity that you would like to have for yourself. And that's going to come from establishing new and healthy habits in all these integrated areas of our lives. It's not just about eliminating bad habits, like don't drink, don't smoke, don't eat all the cookies, right? And it's also about establishing new habits little by little over time. We want to replace those bad habits with good, healthy habits. So today we're just going to look into a number of really great habits that are going to move you to a healthier, leaner version of yourself. So first we're going to tackle the area of nutrition. And here's some habits. So if you're working a habit tracker, and I hope you are, these are some things that you can add to your habit tracker. Again, not all at once, not all on day 1, but over time, add these things, maybe 1 per week or 1 every few days, as quickly as you're able to accommodate change and depending on what's going on in your life, right? So here's habit number 1, nutrition. Eat a vegetable with every meal. So just add that into your daily meal. I don't care if it's a little bit of lettuce with your eggs in the morning or some broccoli in your omelet. Vegetable with every meal. And number 2 would be add some healthy fats to every meal. Again, we don't have to do this all in one day, but this week maybe try the vegetable thing. Next week, add some healthy fats to every meal. What are healthy fats? Things like avocados, maybe some walnuts, maybe some olive oil or coconut oil. Grass-fed butter is actually not a bad one either. Okay, number 3, eat some healthy carbohydrates with every meal. Now we talked about during our nutrition week about how a balance of our macronutrients can really help satisfy our inner elephant, satisfy our bodies to feel like we've eaten and that we've had food so we're not craving. It can also help stabilize our blood sugar so that we're not on these blood sugar crashes and surges all day long. Number 4, eat green leafies every day. Every single day, have some green leafies. Put some lettuce in your sandwich, have a salad, get your green leafies. Make a spinach shake if you just can't tolerate, eating leafies. But get them in your diet. They're good for you in more ways than I can talk about today. So eat green leafies every day. And number 5, manage your calories at a level that promotes the weight you desire. This is something you can do, again, by balancing macronutrients, by eating small meals throughout the day, or if you're an intermittent fasting type person, there's ways and strategies to consolidate your calories into a certain time period that also gives you great health benefits. So do that with a purpose. Do it. Have a strategy to manage your calories at a level that promotes the way you desire. It is largely about calories in the battle against the bulge, okay? And number 6, eat at least 30% of your calories from protein each day. I'm not a nutritionist in the sense that I can't prescribe that for you, But it's definitely a conversation you might want to have with your doctor if you have any medical concerns whatsoever. And do try to get a 25 to 30% of your calories from protein. Again, that's going to help stabilize your blood sugar, keep you feeling full, and help you, especially if you're an aging person, to help you not lose that lean body mass that helps keep your body strong and injury-free and a calorie burner. So we want to protect that lean body mass, and protein is going to do that. Okay, so that's nutrition. Now let's look at movement. What are some good habits for movement that we can work into our lives? Number one, get a minimum of 10,000 steps per day. I recommend a Fitbit or some kind of a step tracker that allows you to count your steps. Maybe your phone does it, your watch. There's a lot of ways to track your steps. Find one and get 10,000 steps a day. Number two, schedule at least 30 minutes of cardio at least 3 times per week. Get that heart rate up. And that's going to go, again, it's going to have huge benefits in your health, your long-term health, your regulation of blood sugar. It's going to have a huge benefit in your ability to release stress. Cardio is a great natural stress releaser, and it's just going to give you a better attitude and better mood. So 30 minutes a day, at least 3 times a week of getting your heart rate up. And we talked about ways to do that. Number 3, schedule and do at least 2 strength or resistance workouts per week. Again, this is where you're either doing body weight resistance or you're working your muscles in a way that forces them to, you're breaking them down and then they're going to repair stronger. Do some resistance workouts at least twice a week. Okay, number 4, here's a nice little habit that you could just stick in your habit tracker for a few weeks to kind of help build some of that core stability muscle, and that is plank for 1 minute 3 times a day. Okay, if that's on your habit tracker, then it's a box you get to check off, and your body gets to reap the benefits of having that 1 minute a day, 3 times a day. And if you can't do a minute, do 30 seconds 3 times a day. By the end of the week, you'll probably be able to do a minute 3 times a day. It doesn't have to be forever, but do that for a while. Throw it in there for a week or 2. It's a great habit. Maybe just plank when the commercials come on the TV. Number 5, move every hour for at least 3 minutes. This is huge. In our society today, we find ourselves sitting for way too long. In fact, I have a Fitbit, and my Fitbit tells me, it kind of vibrates every hour. If I haven't moved at least 250 steps in that 1 hour, it'll remind me at 10 minutes to the hour to get up and move. And then I get a little bubble, I get a little dot when I do that every hour. And I've got it set for 14 hours. So 14 times every day I'm getting out and just making sure I'm moving all day. Otherwise, I can sit in this chair all day long making videos or doing stuff on my computer and totally forget to get up and move. And that's very bad for your health. So one of the best things you can do for your health, if you do nothing else, is to get up and move every hour. It takes about 3 minutes, maybe a little less, to get 250 steps. So I highly recommend you do that. That's another habit. And then number 6, use the foam roller every morning for at least 15 minutes on your problem areas. You can put this into your habit tracker, check it off, your body will thank you. You get the dopamine release from checking a box, and you're going to be much less likely to have those knee, joint aches and pains that you might be experiencing if you're not using a foam roller on a regular basis. Okay, so our next category is sleep. That was nutrition and movement, and now we're going to talk about sleep. And at the beginning of this week, we talked at length about how important sleep is. And so I hope you're prioritizing sleep, and we can take many weeks to add little strategies to our lives around what they call sleep hygiene, which is setting ourselves up to get better sleep. So the first habit that you might want to consider putting in your habit tracker is avoid large meals within 2 hours of bedtime. Now, I think this is one that's pretty easy to do, okay? Unless you just have a habit of you're out late at night, this might be a real challenging one for you. But avoid large meals within 2 hours of bedtime. And just a little tip with that, if you do happen to eat later at night, closer to bedtime, take a 20-minute brisk walk with your spouse or with a friend or with somebody or by yourself, but just try and get out and get a little walk in for 20 minutes or so before you go to bed. That'll help kind of burn up some of that insulin in your system, and it'll kind of help your digestion move a little quicker so that when you do go to sleep, you'll get better quality sleep. Number 2, eliminate lights and electronic devices from your bedroom. Okay, that's just an easy one-stepper, right? You just do it, but if you do it every night, we'll all have our phones in there, and so if you can develop a habit of not going to bed with your phone, or at least having it on silent mode or airplane mode and not looking at it. You can also, there's apps that you can put, you can take the blue light out of your phone screen to make it easier on your eyes in the evening as you're winding down to go to bed. But eliminate all that stuff from your bedroom. Number 3, create a dark room for sleeping using blackout curtains if necessary. And you can also put tape. Sometimes, our TVs, we have things in our rooms, electronic devices that have little lights on them. And you know how it is when you turn the lights out and it's all pitch black and you have that one little blue light on the TV that's just like streaming. It's like a spotlight right into your eye, right? It just seems bigger than life. Put a little piece of black tape over that and that'll take care of that. So create a dark room, get rid of those little lights, and use blackout curtains if you need to. Number 4, set a consistent sleep and wake cycle. Decide when you're going to go to bed and decide when you're going to get up. And this one might take a little while to actually implement. You might have family responsibilities, you might have a lifestyle that right now is a little bit chaotic in that area, but work on one or the other. Work on a regular wake-up time, for example, and then your sleep usually will fall into place. But it takes a little bit of discipline, but we can usually carve out a 7 to 8 hour period of time that we can go to bed and be in bed consistently every night. And again, it will do crazy things for your inner elephant, for your general health overall, and for, like we talked about on the sleep day, all aspects of your life. Okay, so number 5 is allow yourself 8 to 9 hours of sleep window every night. And that's in order to get 6 to 7 hours of quality sleep. And finally, on the sleep section, don't drink caffeine after noon, 12 o'clock, or within 10 hours of bedtime. So if you go to bed at 9 o'clock, cut the caffeine at 11. Cut it 10 hours before you're actually gonna hit the sack. I don't generally drink coffee after like 6 or 7 in the morning because I like to go to bed early and I don't like that laying awake feeling when I'm trying to go to sleep. Caffeine can really disrupt your sleep, even if you don't think it does. It's disrupting the architecture of your sleep for most people. So don't drink it definitely after 12 o'clock or shoot for 10 hours before bedtime. Okay, those are your sleep hygiene habits. And then lastly, we're going to look at some mindfulness habits. And we just talked about meditation yesterday. So this is an area, again, that's going to help overall stress reduction and overall calmness and peace, which allows your body to do what it does better and promote health and promote rest and digest and promote your immune system being able to protect you and keep you from being sick. Number 1 habit, first suggestion, this isn't the highest one, but this is the first one on mindfulness, is create a meditation or prayer space where you can go and be uninterrupted. This might be just one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Just a little space. If you don't have one, now I live in a camper right now, and so we don't have a lot of private space. So I just tell my husband, hey, look, I'm just going to check out. I close my eyes and I'm in my space, okay? And he knows to leave me alone, and it works out. It's not ideal, but it works. But create a space for you, okay? And another little tip is, number 2 is use an app. Find an app like Calm or Headspace. We've talked about those. Set a habit of daily meditation, and I like these apps because they just walk you through it. They kind of teach you how to meditate. I used Headspace for quite some time, and it really, really is a nice one. I like it a lot. So I recommend that to everybody. Number 3, now this is something that you might want to consider. Get a heart map inner balance device. We talked about this. And practice creating coherence for at least 5 minutes a day, or maybe 5 minutes 2 or 3 times a day. It's a little bit of an investment, but there's so many studies that show that creating that coherence in your heart and brain coherence boosts so many positive things in your body. Your immune system improves, your ability to focus and think improves, your ability to emotionally self-regulate can improve from doing that. So that's a well-proven, well-studied strategy to help bring some balance into your life. Heart Math Inner Balance Device. Number 4, practice mindfully eating at least one meal a day. We talked about that back in the Mindfulness Day week also. One meal a day, just sit down and really engage that meal. Now, I'm so guilty of not doing this morning. I think I ate my oatmeal while I was doing my hair, okay, in the bathroom because I was out of time and I'm like shoveling it in. I could just barely chew it up and I was so rushed while I was eating, and I feel it all day. I just kind of felt like irregular all day because I did not have a mindful breakfast experience. So later I ate my sandwich and I really did enjoy that and thought about it, and I mindfully engaged in my sandwich. And so pick a meal sometime today, each day, and put it in your habit tracker to remind you, because here's what happens. You put your habit tracker and then you don't check it, and then tomorrow you look at it and you go, oh, I didn't do that. And so then it's that much more up here in your awareness, and you're more likely to do it the next day. So it's okay if you don't check all your boxes every day. What's important is that you're becoming aware of what you want to be prioritizing and what's not getting done, and then you can make little adjustments each day to make those more and more regular habits in your life. All right, and the last one on mindfulness is journal about your emotions and identify the thoughts that trigger them and the actions that follow. And again, those thoughts, emotions, and actions those are the building blocks of our brains. And so the more we can be strategic about those, we can rewire our brains, and we can learn to lay new hardware that's going to help us more easily make the decisions and choices and habits that we want to have later in life, or later for the rest of our lives. Okay, so those are a lot of strategies that you can incorporate into your habit tracker. I'm sure hopefully they've triggered some others that are more appropriate for you and your situation, but those are the 4 areas. So maybe here's a tip. Just remember nutrition, movement, sleep, and mindfulness, and just try to add a new habit each week in each of those areas. So the strategy today is, as you attempt to change 1% per day, this list I just gave you can serve as a guide to gradually incorporate these new habits in your life. Now, if you're already doing some, that's great. Put them on your tracker so you can check them off and get a brownie point, right? Don't leave them on there forever, but it's nice as you're getting in the habit of the habit tracker to have some things that you can routinely check off and feel good about. Some are going to be easier than others, and that's going to vary from person to person, obviously. But the more you focus on doing a few healthy things, then the more normal those are going to become for you. So the first week you might have like lots of empty boxes, and we just talked about that. That's okay. Each time you see that empty box, you're going to be able to prioritize it and be more intentional about it the next week, and you will become what you practice regularly. So remember, there's no failure here, only daily habits, moment by moment choices where you determine who you will be now and who you will be in the future. So with that, our journaling exercise today is list 10 habits right now that you want to incorporate into your habit tracker, okay? And of those 10, 3 should be ones you already do fairly regularly, like floss your teeth, for example, and 3 should be ones that would be very easy, but you just don't do, like measuring your half and half in your coffee instead of just guessing. Okay, it's an easy little thing, but you don't do it, but you could, and it's not going to take a great deal of effort. And it's going to have some benefit because maybe you typically drink more half and half than you think you do. And then 3 should be just some things that you frequently think, I need to do this or that, and the day passes and you didn't do it. But if you did and you had a box to check, then you'd be more likely to do it. Example, tell your spouse you love them, okay? Sometimes we just take it for granted and we forget to say it, but if it's on the habit tracker, kiss my husband 3 times today. Just spontaneously show affection, or something that maybe doesn't come naturally to you, but would be a blessing, and it's a pleasant thing and it's not hard. Stick it on there and check the box. And then only one item. So those were 9. Only the last one should be something that's challenging, that you're making a point to change for the better, like eat a vegetable with every meal, or limit my alcohol intake, or track my food and maintain a certain calorie goal. Okay, these are a little bit more challenging. They're not always fun. There's maybe a little, we don't like them, but we're going to begin to make little strides in those areas. So put one thing on there like that. So that the journaling part is to write all those 10 down. The challenge is to create a habit tracker. If you haven't done it yet, put those 10 items on it and track it for the week and see how it goes. And then share it with someone who cares about you. And that's just the one last thing about accountability. If you're going to do all this work, have some accountability. Have someone who's going to celebrate your wins with you, and also maybe help you overcome some of your struggles, areas where you're not following through the way you would like to. So with that, I want to say congratulations. That was a lot today, and I hope that this has been beneficial to you. Join me back here tomorrow to celebrate, and then and make sure you do these habits. And I'm excited. Please drop me a message. Let me know if you're doing this and how it's working for you. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Also, make sure that you check the resources below. I put a video here from James Clear on his book, Atomic Habits, and it's an awesome overview of the book. Again, a lot of what I've presented today comes from that book, Atomic Habits. I highly recommend you grab it and give it a listen or a read. And he just drills down a lot better detail than I have in this week of highlights as to just how to implement these little atomic habits in your life. Atomic meaning little teeny tiny changes that brought together with a focus and purpose create something really big. And so just like the atoms. So enjoy that. That's in the resource below. Check that out.